Hey guys, hope you're having a great day today. My name is Daniel and I'm the High Mileage Helper. On this channel, my goal is to be able to help you learn more about the RV transporting industry, as well as give how-to videos for your truck, and then give recommendations along the way. And so this is our first time meeting. Just consider subscribing, hitting the like button if you get good value. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about what a bond account is in the RV transporting industry, as well as what it means for you. And we'll get right into the video coming up. So what is a bond account? What is it for? Why do we have it? So let's look at an example to kind of break this down so that you can kind of see what it's really about. So let's say you are under load, you've got a trailer hooked up to your truck, you are on the way to the dealership, yay! But there's a problem, you're at a truck stop and you hit a semi, you hit another trailer, you hit a parked car, something bad happens and you get into an accident. Well, most companies, not all of them, my understanding is that they have this account so that you are on the hook for the first, let's say, if the bond account is $1,500. That's what it is at Synergy. If it's $1,500, then that $1,500 that was in your account has now been taken from you. It's basically a way to have accountability for not only the company, but for the drivers. We are on the hook for damaging these trailers. Besides potentially being released and contract terminated, if you do it enough times or a bad enough one, negligence and those things, if you get into an accident, you are liable to pay the first $1,500 or whatever that bond limit is set to by your company. So that's a great question to ask if you are a brand new guy, a brand new person getting into the industry. How much is the bond account? How much do I have to put into this? And what happens after that? So how does this affect you? First of all, your first dozen or so different loads that you take out on the road, depending on the miles and how much they pay, it's going to be taken 10% off that right off the top of the gross, and that's going to be taken and put into this bond account that you can't touch. So right off the bat, you're going to be making a little bit less money until you build it up to that certain amount. Because not every company has the same amount. And I've even heard of companies who don't even have a bond account, which means that if you get into an accident, your company is going to be paying that deductible 100%, and you won't be paying for any of it. I don't know how smart that is on your company's way of doing things. I think some of the responsibility should definitely be on the driver, because it does hold our feet to the fire to really be conscious of what we're doing, like you should anyways, because you should be safe what you're doing as a professional driver. And so the 10% right off the top of the gross, that will immediately impact you. Once you get to whatever that top out number is, whether it's $1,000, $1,500, $2,500 bond accounts, all the way up to there. Once you hit that number, it means that automatically you are no longer getting 10% taken off the gross. So that's a nice thing. But it also means that from there, if anything does happen down the road, it means that if you do get into an accident, you are going to lose that money at some point when they do the claim and they do the estimate and all those things. Money will be taken from that account, and then you will have to replenish that account. So you'll have to go back to 10% being put back into that up until, or maybe even more. Maybe your company does it differently. I don't know all the companies, obviously, but they may be doing it a little bit differently. But this is generally the process of what happens. It's a small percentage over a period of time. You build up to that certain bond account, and that pays for a portion of the deductible that goes towards fixing the trailer. So just a last example for you. So let's say you've been a driver for 2 years or 3 years, 4 years, whatever it is, You've well surpassed the bond account. You've never had an accident. You've never had a problem. And let's say you are leaving the company to go to a different field. You're leaving the company to go to a different company for whatever reason. But that $1,500 or the whatever, you fill in the blank, amount of money is sitting in that account. Well, that's technically your money. If you never caused any damage to any trailer, there was no deductible, you didn't have to pay for anything, that's your money. So what happens is, what I've heard, I have never left a company, so I haven't experienced this myself. I'm going off of lots of information from people who have left companies that I've heard. I've talked with them about it. But what happens is, Synergy's policy, I believe, is 90 days after you leave the company, that is when you get your money returned to you. I believe it's returned on the ComData card or the other types of cards that are out there that other companies are using. That money's returned to you at that time. The reason for the 90 days. Now, why do they wait so long? That's ridiculous, right? The truth is that it is possible, and you got to look at you can't just look at this from a driver's perspective. You got to be able to look at all the different perspectives of this situation. You are leaving their company, which means your liability is going away. So if you left and they gave you your money immediately on the day you left, what happens if one of your trailers that you delivered is found out to have damage somewhere? The dealership finds damage underneath the trailer, or something happened that was on the road that you caused. It wasn't at the factory, it wasn't a problem, and then you made your problems on the road made it worse. It was on the road. It was found out that you hit something and you didn't say anything, you didn't call in. It could be a number of different things. What happens then? Well, the company gets stuck with the full deductible and you've already bailed. And I'm sure no one would ever lie or ever be dishonest in this industry. But what if a driver caused the damage, knew he did, thought that they could get away with it, and then says, I'm going to leave this company and get my money before I lose all that money? Sure, that would never happen in this industry, but somehow over time companies have caught on, and they are not willing to pay for your problems, for your mistakes that you made. And so the reason why they do that is because the 90 days is more than enough time for any dealership after you've already delivered it, whether they wrote no driver damage or not on the form. It's more than enough time for them to report any damage that they found at a further inspection time later on. And so with 90 days under your belt, no trailers came back. Hey, well, actually, we found some further problems here, from the dealership writing to the manufacturer and your company saying, hey, this driver did something. Rather than that happening, 90 days free and clear means, listen, nobody, if people can't get a complaint form or some damage problem written in 90 days, that's more than enough time. Let's give this driver their money back. They really didn't cause any problems. There hasn't been a peep of anybody saying that any of this person's trailers that they delivered were damaged. So anyways, this is kind of really beating the dead horse, but just want to walk you through this bond account situation, what it really looks like, why we have it, what it means for us as drivers. So right here at the end, I just want to share a quick warning with you of some things I've recently heard about. And I don't know if it's multiple companies or if it's just one, but I heard of this company that they said that if you don't give them enough notice of you leaving, they won't give you your money back at all if you try to leave. First of all, that sounds pretty wild. I have not gone to whoever the company they were talking about that did that, but I just want to kind of give you a warning of this situation, that it is possible that some companies could require some outrageous requirements. And if you try to leave without giving them enough notice, hey, in 30 days I'm going to leave, or 2 weeks I'm going to leave, or whatever. If it's written in the contract, I don't know what to tell you. It could be very difficult to try to fight to get your money back. So be very, always ask questions, be very careful with what companies you're dealing with. Ask questions. Even if they seem ridiculous, it needs to be asked. So anyways, be careful with this bond situation. Hopefully you never have to deal with this ever. Whenever you do leave or retire, you take that money back after 90 days, or depending on the company, maybe it's different for the different companies. But generally, I've heard 90 days is the term for that to go through, and then they drop off the money into your Com Data card or other types of fuel pay cards, and then you are free to go. But anyways, I hope this was a help to you, just kind of further explaining the bond account, what this means. I'm going to be doing another video on this a little further on to be a help to you as well. But in the meantime, hope you are staying safe. God bless, and we'll catch you next time.